Hello, I am Aviva reporting for Jerusalem News Live. Today is the 20th of February 2009, and Shabbat will enter the holiest city on earth in just a few moments. We have some very interesting press releases from the government press office this week to report upon just before Shabbat. It seems that the Obama administration has given the green light to the United States Congress to visit Israel and begin traveling here, probably in order to make an assessment and to start glad-handing on behalf of his administration. Yesterday, the Chief of Staff for the Israel Defense Forces, General Gabi Ashkenazi, met with the Senator from the United States, Senator John Kerry, and of course Senator Kerry serves as the chairman of the United States Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. That communique reads, and I quote, "The Chief of Staff presented to Senator Kerry the current strategic challenges faced by the State of Israel, including the Iranian threat, the Northern Front, and the Islamic terror effort in the Judea and Samaria region and the Gaza Strip. In addition, the Chief of Staff briefed Senator Kerry on the details of Operation Cast Lead and its achievement. Lieutenant General Ashkenazi expressed his appreciation for the support shown by the United States administration to Israel and for the ongoing cooperation between the two countries in the security and other fields," end quote. And concerning the question of ongoing humanitarian aid into Gaza, we received a press release from COGAT this week giving the overall tonnage of assistance that recently was forwarded to the Gaza Strip, and I quote, "The ongoing humanitarian effort since the unilateral ceasefire 18/1/2009, 101,418 tons have entered the Gaza Strip and been delivered there. Yesterday, Kerem Shalom, Karni, Nahal Oz, and Erez crossings operated, enabling humanitarian ongoing movements and transfer of humanitarian goods into Gaza. Throughout the day, a total of 130 trucks with 2,955 tons of supplies at the request of UNRWA, the World Food Program, medication, and an ambulance donated by MSF and a donation from the government of Jordan. Also, goods for the public and private sectors that included hypochlorite meat and dairy products, fruit, blankets, empty sacks, oil, vaccines, and veterinarian vitamins, diapers, reproductive eggs, sugar, rice, and personal hygiene items. Via Nahal Oz Fuel Depot, 440,000 liters of heavy-duty diesel for the Gaza power station were transferred. Karni conveyor operated and transferred 430 tons of different types of grain. Noteworthy, the recent decline of grain being conveyed via Karni conveyor belt is due to a decrease in demand on the Palestinian side. As the humanitarian effort continues, today 202 trucks of grain via Karni crossing and goods via Kerem Shalom are scheduled to be transferred to the Gaza Strip, end quote. And that press release was dated the 18th of February 2009. And yesterday, a press release from the IDF spokesperson substantiated that despite the continued rocket launches from the Gaza Strip, that the crossings have been open for the entrance of that aid. The press release further documents the military response of the sovereign state of Israel, and I quote, "February 19th, 2009, in response to the 4 rockets and mortar shells that were fired at Israeli communities last night and this morning, and the continuous firing of approximately 50 rockets and mortars since the holding of fire on January 18th, Israel Air Force aircraft hit 6 tunnels used by the terror organization Hamas for armed struggling on the southern border of the Gaza Strip. Large secondary explosions were noticeable following some of the strikes, proving the presence of weapons and munitions. Despite the ongoing rocket and mortar fire, 400,000 liters of fuel and close to 130 humanitarian aid trucks carrying medical aid, food, and other commodities are scheduled to cross into the Gaza Strip today via the Kerem Shalom and Nahal Oz crossings. As the sole authority in the Gaza Strip, Hamas bears full responsibility for all terror originating within its area of control. The IDF will continue to respond to any attempts to destabilize Israel's south, end quote. And finally, as we close this segment, I wish to quote the press release from the Security Committee, which was forwarded to the foreign press here in Israel on the 17th of February 2009. That communique reads, and I quote, "The Ministerial Committee on National Security met this morning, Wednesday, 18/2/09, to the situation in the South in the wake of Israel's 17/01/09 decision to hold its fire. The committee decided unanimously as follows. Number one, the release of abducted soldier Gilad Shalit is and will continue to be Israel's top priority. Israel will continue to make every effort to this end. The release of Gilad Shalit will entail the release of Palestinian prisoners according to a list that will be formulated and approved as soon as possible by the duly authorized Israeli officials. Number two, Israel is not negotiating with Hamas or any other terrorist organization in order to reach understandings or arrangements with it on a ceasefire. Number three, Israel expresses its deep appreciation for the attempts and efforts of the Egyptian authorities to stabilize the ceasefire following Operation Cast Lead and for their readiness to mediate for the return of Gilad Shalit. In these contexts, there will be coordination with Egypt. Number four, Israel will continue its wide-ranging humanitarian efforts in cooperation with the Palestinian Authority and the relevant international bodies in order to supply the immediate and basic humanitarian needs of the Palestinian population. To this end, Israel will allow partial activities at the crossing from its territory into the Gaza Strip. Number five, expanded activity at the crossings will be discussed upon the release of Gilad Shalit. Number six, the Rafah crossing will be opened in coordination with Egypt and the Palestinian Authority only according to the parameters that were set in November 2008. Number seven, Israel will respond quickly, strongly, and continuously to the continuation of terrorist activities against it from the Gaza Strip, including rocket fire, the smuggling of weapons and ammunition, and the strengthening of the terrorist organizations in the Gaza Strip. In this context, Israel views Hamas as being solely responsible for everything that occurs in the Gaza Strip and will exact a high price from it for the continuation of terrorist activities, including the smuggling issue. The Security Cabinet instructed Prime Minister Ehud Olmert and Defense Minister Ehud Barak to order the IDF and the security services to prepare to respond accordingly, end quote. And I am out of time for this segment. I am Aviva Lee, reporting for Jerusalem News Live. I would like to close by asking, where is Gilad Shalit? How many moderate Muslims would it take to secure his release? Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom. May the Almighty help this present inhabited world.